Hello guys, this is Tom Anderson, and this is a look into the Red Cine X software. You might be using this software if you're shooting on a Red Cinema digital camera, which luckily the couple weeks ago I got to shoot on the new Red Scarlet X, which is a 4K cinema grade camera, and to be honest it looks fantastic, and we got to use it for 24 hours, and after that I had to return it to its, rightful home, which, we all lose some and we all win some, so I lost that day. But anyway, moving on. We shot a short film with it, a short film called Still Life with Desert. If you didn't see it, here's a couple seconds of it. I won't play the whole thing, but here's a brief look at it.
My dreams mean absolutely nothing. This dream was everything. I found myself
Yeah.
standing in dust. Needles.
Alright, so as you can see, it's pretty amazing quality, and this camera shoots in 4K, and that was a 1080p export for YouTube, so even then it's just top-notch quality, just amazing for camera nerds like me and alike. But anyway, here it is, alas, Red Cine X software. Now what is this software? It's a color correction software that natively uses the files from the camera, so you can work with the raw data, color correct, color grades, all of that magical stuff, and export, because if you're using a software like Final Cut Pro, which I am, you have to export it into MOV file. But unless you're working in Adobe Premiere, which I believe you can actually just basically drag and drop the files directly from the camera's hard drive into the software, and it works absolutely swimmingly. But anyway, alas, I think I've already said that. I've tried this way too many times and it's difficult to get the right wording because I mess up all the time. Let's look into this software. Here's some of the clips that I have from the film. This is Corey waking up in a daze in this very nice desert sort of area. And this is the raw clip that we're working straight from the camera. And as you can see, it's looking a little bit flat, a little bit boring, there's no colour to it. Very sort of undersaturated. So to do that, we can change the curves. So you can go down here and change the S curves and give it a basic sort of give the contrast back in. And with this software, you can actually save that preset. So do the S curve and then click this plus here. You can click that and then it saves it into a preset. Luckily, I've already done that. So here's LUT curve, lookup table curve, and I can just apply that and then boom, instantly. Look at that, it just looks so much nicer. And you can sort of scrub through that and it looks rather nice. One other thing I need to point out, I'm using a early 2012 MacBook. I'm not really using any high-tech graphics cards, so up here you can change the quality of what you're looking at it. I found that 1/8 quality I can play it very smoothly through. Obviously I can sort of go into full and then I can go into full screen and look at it like that. But I can't actually play it like that, and if I try and play it, my computer might have a mini heart attack, and nobody likes that. So after you've done the lookup table, you might want to change certain things like the saturation. Saturation's right here, boost it a little bit, not obviously too much. I'm just giving you the basic gist of what this stuff does. Okay, and let's go into RAW, the fact that this camera can shoot in RAW, which I think is absolutely awesome. And basically what RAW is it keeps some of the data from the camera and allows you to alter it in post. So say like for this clip, this is looking a little bright even after I add the LUT curve. I don't know, look, it's looking a little bright compared to that clip, isn't it? So if I scroll down here, you can actually see along here it has the ISO, and it also has the Kelvin, the color temperature. So I might decide to take the ISO down to 250, all the way down here. And as you can see, this isn't just affecting the brightness. It's not just like adding a brightness effect to it. It's generally the ISO that's being affected. So it's like changing the camera settings, but like way after, hours after you've actually filmed it, which is kind of cool. And obviously you can change the Kelvin as well, so if that's looking a little bit yellow, bring it down, looking a little bit blue. And this isn't affecting the quality at all because it's not changing the color in post, it's changing the color data, if you will. These are sort of things you can play around with and see what it's like. Okay, that's an odd face. Okay, and basically after you've gone through all of your clips and sort of matched them through with each other, you know, added your basic LUT curve, blah da 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 da, added the saturation, all of this jazz, and played it through and made sure that it looks all nice and tangy and fruity, because there's fruit in that clip. What am I saying? Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway, we can actually come down all the way down here, and then I believe we can change certain stuff like the skin tone, the clarity. We can add more saturation afterwards as well. So let's have a look at that. If we turn this on and boost the clarity, let's see if you boost it all the way, you can really tell the difference. But that's obviously too much, and you can bring it down, and then what it does, it'll completely make it blurred. So I kind of add a little bit of that if you want a little bit more detail. It kind of looks interesting. And skin as well, that basically just smooths it out. So yeah, you can sort of play around with these clips and see what you like. But anyway, really useful tool, and if you haven't seen the film that I did, go ahead and look at it. I'll put a link there. But anyway, now let's move on to the final step of this video. Yes, we're coming down to a close finally. This has taken me far too long and far too many takes because I just can't speak as a human being. So let's go into export. We go File, and then we can go to Export or Command E if you're working on a Mac. If you're working on Windows, something along those lines. Okay, so now we have the export settings here, and I presume you can also make a preset for these as well if you have to export quite a few of them. So what I've done is done it over to QuickTime MOV file, so if I go ahead and click video, it'll pop up. One sec, boom, there we go. And I chose to save them as Apple ProRes 422. That seemed like a pretty good quality for 24 frames per second. And audio, I didn't have any audio anyway, so that didn't matter at all. I think you can go into audio and actually enable or disable them right there. And these are sort of extra things which I haven't really worked out yet, but I assumed when time comes, if I use this camera in the future, I might, actually look into them. Here we have the output, basically where the video is going to be saved. You might want to know that. And then I'm going to burp. Oh god. And then over here we have the actual resolution, which the Red Scarlet shoots at 3840 by 2160, which isn't actually 4K, that's like 3.8K, so they're kind of lying when they say 4K, it's a little bit under, And when you export, it's going to export all of the clips in the timeline that's along here. So if you want clips from the sequence bin here, make sure you drag them down here, so you can actually export them, otherwise they won't actually show up. And then once you do all of that, it's going to show up as one big video file. So, for instance, this film, I altogether had about 15-20 minute footage. So I was left with a 15-20 minute video anyway. But that concludes this tutorial. Can you say it's a tutorial? Anyway, that's an interesting face. Let me take that off. Yes, this was an overlook of the Red Cine X Pro. This is beta 16. And, I had fun making this film. Everyone was, a treat to work with, and the camera was absolutely lovely. I treated it like a small child. It weighed about the same as a small child as well. But anyway, I shall see you later. Watch my film.